Today's technology tip is called 321 backup. A lot of teachers have a problem when they lose a file and then they need it back and it's not backed up. So, this is what you should be doing. It's called 321 backup. So, let's talk a little bit about 321 backup. So, before we start talking about backup, we need to talk about different ways in which you can back up your files. The first is called a USB drive or a thumb drive. It's this little USB pocket sized drive that you can plug into your computer in the USB port. You can save files on it. They come in all kinds of sizes. They're relatively inexpensive. You can usually get an 8 gigabyte drive for less than $10 these days. You can get really large size drives, 32, 64 gigabytes, for not a lot of money. So you can actually back up quite a bit of files on this tiny little drive that fits in your pocket or on your keychain. An external drive. These are a little bit bigger. They usually range about the size of a wallet, and they can hold much more, up to many hundreds of gigabytes or even larger, 1,000 gigabytes, which is called a terabyte. So many files can fit on these. You can also put your files in your Google Drive. Your Google Drive is relatively unlimited, so there's not any kind of limit to how much or how many or what types of files that you can put there. It acts almost just like any other type of drive, except that you must have internet access in order to get to it. And then finally, your H drive. Your H drive is that network drive on your computer that you can access from any GPISD district computer. But you must be on our network in order to access your H drive. You cannot access it from home. All right, let's talk about the pluses and minuses of the different ones. A USB drive is very handy because they're small. You can put it in your pocket. You can take it with you, both home or here at school. Works on almost any kind of computer. But because they're so small, as most of you know, they're very easy to lose. An external drive, they're much larger. They can hold a lot more files than a USB keychain drive, and but the problem with them is that they are a little bit less portable. They won't fit in your pocket. It will easily fit in a backpack or any other bag, and you can plug them in once again to almost any computer. Google Drive. Your Google Drive you can access both at school and at home. It's a little different from a keychain drive in that once you have to upload and then download the files. And so this is not like just drag and drop like with the other types of drives. And then finally, your H drive. In your Google Drive, you also must have internet access in order to access your Google Drive. Your H drive only works here at Galena Park ISD. So you must be on a district computer logged into your account in order to access your H drive. So all of these things have pluses and minuses, limitations. All right, so everybody thinks that if I make a copy of a file, then you have a backup, and that's not true. If you don't have multiple copies of a file, then you don't have a backup. So let's talk about these are some things that are not a backup. Backing up your computer to a USB on the same computer is not a backup. So if you plug your USB drive into your computer and you leave it in that computer, that's not a backup. If you back up to an external drive and you leave it in the same room as your computer, that's not a backup. If you back up your file by copying it to another folder on the same computer, that's not a backup. And any photos that are still in your memory card or on your phone, those are not backed up. That's not a backup. What is a backup? Well, we call it the rule of three. And it's a long-time computer IT rule, also called the backup 321 rule. All right. You want 3 copies of anything that is really important to you. 2 is not enough if it's a really important file. And those 3 different copies should be in 3 different places and at least 2 different formats. So, for example, if you put a copy on your Google Drive, another copy on a USB, and then your last copy lives on your computer, then you have 3 copies in different formats. Or you can have a copy in your H drive and a copy on your computer hard drive. That's 2 different formats. Still not 3 copies, but at least it's in 2 different places. And always have one off-site backup. If your computer dies, how are you going to get your files back? Right? So remember, 3 is 2. So if you have 3 copies, it's really like you have 2 copies, because if your computer dies, you automatically lose a copy. So 3 is 2, 2 is 1, and 1 is none. So always remember that rule. All right. This has been Robert Quartermunch. I am the technology specialist at North Shore Senior High. We hope this has been a helpful video for you.